Well, good morning, church, and welcome to the musing for the 30th of March. My Thursday evening Bible study group is working its way through the book of Genesis. And recently we discussed the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, particularly the scene in which the men of Sodom surround Lot's house, demanding that he send out his house guests to be raped. Lot's response was to offer his daughters instead as a substitute. Now, at first reading, this seems rather reprehensible, but that's only because it is. Now, I understand that the status of a guest in your house was nearly sacred in that time and that culture, and I get that Lot was under terrific societal pressure to protect those whom he had taken in, but the pressure doesn't excuse the decision. It almost never does. Lot was presented with an evil situation, and he offered to sacrifice his daughters to save his guests. He chose to oppose evil by committing what he thought was a lesser evil. He tried to compromise with this broken world. That road never seems to lead anywhere good. Now, reading this passage, one has to wonder whether living in Sodom had eaten away at Lot's character. He had made the conscious choice to live in a place of evil, and perhaps the evil had begun to live in him as well. It is dangerous for us to try to maintain our faith and our virtue while we exist in that kind of proximity to that level of moral rot. As the Apostle Paul reminded the church at Corinth, bad company ruins good morals. And just as a compass placed near a strong magnet will stop pointing to true north and swing around to the magnet, our moral compass can be overcome by the pull of sin when we get too close to it for too long. And notice that Lot apparently never consulted God about this crisis. He didn't pray for guidance. He didn't ask for help. He seems to have made this decision on his own. He relied upon his own judgment, and he failed to find a godly way forward. How often does evil triumph by convincing us that we have no good choice, that all the paths ahead are bad ones? That is a lie of the enemy. We may not be able to see the right path, but God can. God can make a way where there seems to be no way. And in this particular case, God takes a direct hand. He sends Lot and his family out of town, and then his judgment falls upon the city. The lessons to be learned from all of this are powerful. First, we see that evil is strong and deceptive and not to be trifled with. Human beings are weak and naturally prone to sin. When we dance too close to the fire, we get burned. And second, we see that it is a mistake to rely on solely our own resources, our own judgment. Scripture says that we are to bring our difficulties to God. Friends, evil is still around. It still tempts us and tests us, and we are not really any stronger or smarter than Lot was. So when your trials come, and they will, remember the lesson. Evil is strong. God is stronger. And take comfort in a third lesson, the knowledge that our loving Creator is able to rescue us in every situation, even when our situation is a consequence of our own folly. And God bless us all.